get your feelings hurt. Read this.
Man, it's so good.
You done orgasming over the Coke flavor?
Huh?
Are you done orgasming with the Coke?
Nope. I'm not done.
You still got some on your beard here.
I got more of that left.
Welcome to Short Film Roundup, a show where three cursed filmmakers review short films that are submitted by you guys.
I'm Kenny.
That's Kenny.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm D.
That's D right there. What are you looking at, Kenny?
Well, I was just looking at our list, and it looks like our next film is a tone poem.
Really?
Yeah.
Tone poem.
I haven't covered a good tone poem in a while.
That's
This will be
interesting.
nice.
Do you know who's it by?
Who's it by?
Luckily, I memorized it. It's
good.
Adilene Nevárez
Yeah.
and Kum
Farhan.
Farhan. Yes.
Farhan.
That.
I had a friend named Farhan.
Yes. That.
All right.
So before we get started, just let you know, we have an award ceremony coming up
Ooh.
January 1st.
on January 1st.
We will honor the best of the best of our first year of reviewing short films.
Yes, sir.
Very excited.
Yeah.
So
I'm
if you
excited for that.
like and sub, you will be able to know when those awards come out. Also, everyone who has been on the shows thus far will be considered for an award.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Including the film we're watching right now.
Yeah.
That's it. So tell them what to do. What do they do?
You got to go watch the film. Even if you're the filmmaker, rewatch your film. And then you can come back and leave a comment telling us what you thought of it, your own little review, because we are interested to hear outside opinions outside of ourselves as well.
Absolutely.
And then you can also watch a review and disagree with us. Feel free to disagree with us.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, exactly. That's
If
the
you
thing.
disagree with us, let us know.
Yeah,
And-
we want to keep the conversation going, you know?
And if you happen to make films and you're not this filmmaker, submit your film to us.
Exactly.
We would love to give your film the same treatment we've been giving to all these others.
We have a little form in the description. Check it out.
Yeah.
So until then, let's go watch the film. We back.
Ah!
And
Coke's so good.
what are you mumbling about?
What?
You keep saying it's so good.
What?
I don't know what. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You've been sort of wigging out lately.
No, it's fine. I've just... A lot has changed for me.
That's so.
Yeah.
Since watching the film, or
Just in the past few sessions.
Uh,
past few episodes?
Past few episodes, past
You've
few
been- yeah,
sessions.
you've been
Change
acting
for
a-
the good or the worse?
You've been acting a little
the
weird.
better.
So what's better about being stuck in a void of eternal darkness reviewing films forever?
I don't think you guys are interested in it. You'll see. One of these days.
You'll see.
Let's talk
see.
about the movie.
Yeah, let's do that.
Taylor's being weird again.
And creepy. So, this is the... so I asked Taylor to get us started last time, but Kenny overtook it because Taylor
I had
was
no
being
idea what
weird.
to say.
So, Taylor, how about you actually get us started this time?
All right.
All right.
First off,
From the round circle, by the way.
round circle. Oh, yes.
Circle. Or
I
round the circle.
That's what I thought it was.
around the circle.
Round the circle.
Round the circle.
Yeah.
Roundabout.
The round circle or round the circle?
One of the two. Anyway.
I
Circle the round.
liked this movie. I thought it was a nice tone, interesting. I like the idea of, excuse me, I like the idea of multiple couples going through multiple couples' relationships and showing kind of subtle visual things to express their relationships that they have with each other, and kind of sort of showing that. I like the idea of time freezing, the cinematograph kind of look that goes on there as like snapshots of their relationship.
Yeah.
Though I think a lot of the fallbacks in this film are actually the tone, because I felt like this film does have a cool tone, but it's the same tone throughout the whole film. I think that might be because of the music, where I felt like each relationship had a different degree of they all have the same theme of they're not happy with each other, or they're not satisfied with their relationship, but they had it from different contexts, different points of view, different stages of that. And I felt like the film would have been a little bit better served had each relationship had a kind of more distinct tone from each other, so they were a little bit more separate rather than kind of blending into each other. Though that is definitely like kind of a choice that the artist would be making.
Yeah.
And I have to go into what their intent exactly was. And I felt that there was a few shots that were kind of weird. Like the one in the last couple, there's a shot where they're walking into the hotel room. The guy walks in, and we see the girl sitting at the edge of the bed out of focus. And
Can you tell me where to go?
go to the very end. Like, yeah.
Here.
It's the beginning of this scene. Oh, and yeah, this shot right here. So just let that play. We stick on this shot for a while, and I like the shot. But as soon as we rack focus to her,
And she goes
out of frame.
Yeah.
And then we rack focus back.
So, can I talk about that for a second? The blocking in this whole thing was terrible.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I appreciate, like you said, the tone, what they were going for.
I think it was improvised. I don't think there was
so
blocking.
too. Yeah, no, I think so too. So,
Yeah.
so I, like you said, I appreciate everything that they were trying to do with the different points of view, with the different couples all saying the same thing, which is breakups, basically, or love being undone. The blocking, there's only this shot that I think worked, and that was because I think it was supposed to be the title reveal, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice shot.
It is, yeah. But this shot is where it started getting weird for me, because we start in that far thing,
In the reflection.
Yeah, the reflection, and then we rack focus, and I feel like it's just kind of there was no real intent here. It was more just like, I feel like this is what we should do, so I'm just going to do it, and then I'm just going to, like you said, improv the camera work, through just kind of through it. And what that does is it gives an inconsistent feel to the whole thing. It makes it feel like the camera person is catching up with the action.
Yes, I did get that feeling too.
Yeah.
That being said, there still was some very pretty cinematic work in here.
Yeah,
some
like this,
very
for
nice
example.
camera work. I
like that
just
shot.
enjoyed a lot. They did a great job of conveying this feeling of dissatisfaction in a relationship. I think what really made this sort of drag and actually weaker than it should have been is the repetition and redundancy of the bedroom. And in fact, the first time we go to this second couple, the setting is so similar to the previous couple that it felt, at first I thought, oh, this is the same girl and it's a different guy.
I was thinking the same thing.
And then it also felt like the guy was like waking up and the last thing was a dream or something, like he was dreaming he was a different guy or something weird like that. It was hard to differentiate the time and space of what was happening here. And I know we're not really supposed to be tied up in time and space when we're doing a tone poem, but this concept of dissatisfaction in a relationship could be told many ways in many different places. I don't doubt that you had an intent for having it all set in bedrooms, but or hotel rooms, but they're all around a bed. So maybe there's symbolic meaning behind that to you. I didn't quite grasp it. To me, it just sort of made everything feel the same. Like the fact that we had, in this scene, you have people, one person smoking a cigarette, another person looking at the screen.
Yeah.
In the previous scene, we had one person smoking a cigarette, another person looking at a screen.
I like that the genders were reversed.
Sure. That was,
but it does make it feel samey. I'm curious if part of the intent here was to make it feel like one
redundant
thing and just kind of show that, oh, this happens to everybody, or this happens to tons of people. But I mean, it's not exactly clear.
I liked the idea of them having the anchor of a bedroom, because I felt like that was like, like every tone poem goes, it's open for interpretation. So I felt like the bedroom was kind of like this thing where this is where every couple eventually goes, right? Is the bedroom, and they have to face each other, no matter what problems.
Yeah, it's sort of like the sanctum where the most intense moments of love and hatred all come out, right?
Yeah.
The whole spectrum of emotion is often caught in the bedroom. But it was all sort of the same emotion.
It was,
yeah.
And that's what didn't work for me. And one specific thing that didn't work for me also was this scene right here with the girl, the blonde girl.
This one seemed the most off from the rest of the film to me.
I liked the emotion that both of them were in here. That they're
he's pissed.
Yeah, that both of them are pretty mad at something that happened. But what
She's
is
about
weird?
to cry.
Yeah, this is what's weird to me is that she, from the very beginning, looks this way where she looks like she wants to go, and I'm like, it feels like she has to be here because the camera is here.
Well, this angle here makes it very much look like he's an intimidating force, and she's almost there against her will. Like, she wants out.
That is something that you could read from it. Ever since the beginning, it felt like she could just leave, but she's not.
And
to me,
the thing is also with this scene is the only tonal shift is the performances and maybe the camera work a little bit too, because it's a little wilder.
Yeah.
But like the music stays the same, the color palette's still flat.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is still pretty close to the same, even though it's a much more intense situation, which is kind of weird to me.
So
that is weird.
Another thing that could make this movie go, like a simple thing that could make this film go a lot farther, like just be so much better, is sound mixing. When the song dropped out, whenever the song dropped out,
the room tone,
the staticky room tone that came in, it was like song stopped and it was just jarring and makes you immediately go, oh, amateur film.
Yeah.
And we have all these beautiful shots, and then when that audio comes in, you're like, oh, gross, amateur.
The first shot made me think of that it was amateur, because
this felt so non-congruous with the rest of the quality.
It's so warm and like underexposed.
Yeah, and that is really interesting. And
it's weird that she puts on her straps there for her blouse, because it's like, why were they down?
Because they were doing stuff.
Yeah, but like if you're laying under the bed and you have your straps down and that's it, and you're gonna just sit up, you're gonna, I don't know. It felt weird to me. It felt like it was there because the directing of the scene, like they wanted to be naked, but obviously you can't ask someone to be naked. And
this whole bit did feel like the sitcom post-sex that we see all the time,
where the covers are on still.
Yeah, where they're like awkwardly conscious of the camera, and they're like pulling sheets over as they pull up their pants. It's like ridiculous, right? But back to the sound. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about sound here. Because you relied so heavily on a song, there was no reason to have the room tone of the recorded scenes at all.
Dialogue.
Right.
There was, the dialogue was coming from the narration was coming from like an omniscient voice, right? Like the poetry reader.
I love that, though.
Which is separated, right? So whenever the music stopped, we should have just had total silence, unless you had a very nicely designed soundscape to fill in the gaps.
Definitely agree. Yeah.
That static that came in just killed it.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if it relied a little too much on the song itself.
I think so.
Did you feel that way?
I felt like the performances weren't very strong within the first two scenes here.
I don't know. The guy in this scene was, I thought, pretty good.
Maybe it didn't tell me anything other than there's something to miss. It wasn't even dissatisfaction to me. It was just something's there. Same with the guy who lit up the cigarette. After he kissed his girlfriend, lit up a cigarette, and then her deadpan look was interesting. It all gave me kind of a feeling, but it was all just kind of mid.
Yeah, I guess that is something that could really help, would be a little bit more than just facial expressions, because
maybe
you could be dissatisfied with lots of things.
Yeah.
There's mornings I wake up next to my wife, who I am deeply in love with, but act exactly that way because I'm dissatisfied with
Yeah.
something else in life. Where I wake up and just go,
So-
it doesn't necessarily mean I'm.
This is what's so hard.
My love's undone.
Right. This is what's so hard with tone poems.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna make a weird connection here, but Drive, the movie,
Yeah.
has Ryan has
course.
some of Ryan Gosling's most quiet acting stuff, where he doesn't do anything; he just stares at stuff.
That's not him in every movie.
Yeah, mostly. But
Drive started it.
But yeah, but in Drive, there's a lot of what's inferred emotion there, where you see him looking at something and you can infer, oh man, he's thinking this, all these complicated thoughts and everything. And when I see people in here, I don't see the same complicated thoughts, and I think the reason is because you're building up context there, whereas here all we have is like, for instance, this guy in the beginning looks at his phone of pictures of what I presume is his ex-girlfriend.
It looks like
they're
I think it's the girl he's
just
with
the girl
right
here.
then.
That's what I was thinking. I
And
was
it
like
feels-
weirded out by that.
It feels like random.
Mhm.
Who
Well-
does that? Who goes like this?
I'm gonna look at pictures of the girl I'm with right now.
Yeah, like I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't see that
it's,
happening naturally.
Yeah, I think that's that's poetic.
So,
Meant
like,
to be poetic imagery.
This it's funny because the scenes as they go on felt like they got stronger. Like the smoking one was more symbolic of someone relieving stress, and then again the girl, his girlfriend with the deadpan look here, was really interesting, but they didn't hold on it very long. And then after that, we had the strongest performance from these two people, and the most camera work, which was interesting too. But that being said, we don't have a lot to read into because of the actions were so subtle, and it really takes either really really good context building or a really really good actor to get some sort of emotion across just from staring or just from a look.
Mad people in bedrooms.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of good context building, like something simple?
Yeah. I mean, well, anything that has to do with personality building. In the beginning there with the guy, I mean, we could just have. We could have him doing some sort of habit that he always does. Okay, if he's looking for his phone, maybe he's just on his phone at this point, and she sees that he's distant. I mean, that in itself is fine.
Or it seems that most of the cutaways that we had to those sort of stylized images where they're frozen and everything else is moving around them seem to be like contrast, right? Like showing them when they're happy.
Yeah.
Right? That also could have been a good time to
Interesting.
maybe show them happy, not so happy, falling apart kind of thing.
That would've been cool.
Condense it.
Just to
into,
bring
like,
out a
3
little bit
shots.
more.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Instead of just like, hey, they're happy. Oh, not in here. They're not happy.
Yeah.
Why aren't they happy? I don't know. There's no context.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about the cinemagraphs that they did. I thought they were cool.
Well, I'd like to find out why. I mean, clearly, you're composing a poem here to convey an emotion. Why did you choose to do this style, the cinematograph thing?
I could read that it's about life
Moving on while you feel stuck,
while
you're
feel
paralyzed.
stuck. Yeah.
Also, photography in the
Well, that was
sense
easy.
that when you look at a photograph, it's a snapshot of one very specific instance and one very specific emotion that may have been particularly important.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or as a particular, like a thesis almost. I keep trying to think back about, I want to talk a little bit more about context building and like what's an example in a film, like another film where that's like even in Drive.
Yeah.
Like is an example of context building within Drive, since we're talking about Drive, where Ryan Gosling starts to have feelings for that girl.
Yeah.
And he is a little weirded out and hesitant by it because we know his profession is very dangerous and happens to overlap with the husband of that girl.
Oh.
Right? Or am I just rambling?
No.
nonsensically
I
right
think you have
now?
a point. I mean, like, The thing in Drive, because it's hard to talk about context in that versus this, because this is a lot shorter.
Right.
And I think Kenny had a good idea where you're talking about cinemagraphs to tell context. I think that's a really interesting idea. But I mean, in Drive, for example, when he's doing the whole hallway shots of him and the girl riding the elevator going to their respective doors, the whole ride up is is a what's the word? It's a quiet time for them.
Yeah.
And they're next to each other and they keep exchanging glances, but they don't look at each other too long. And then as they're walking out, she goes straight to her door and he keeps glancing over a little bit more, and just that kind of stuff is showing the human in it, the humanity.
So that way, when that kind of idea is revisited later, and something's different about it, then the difference in the scene has a larger impact because of the context set before it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
that's what that means.
So if we had, say, in that portion in Drive, if we did not have that whole first scene and they just started making out in the elevator, it'd be like, what?
Like, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah. But because
our apologies if you haven't seen Drive.
Yeah, it's very specific.
It's the reason why I use Drive as that is because of that.
The Kuleshov effect.
Exactly. Yeah, because the Kuleshov effect. Because you have someone who's doing something with their face, and then you cut to whatever they're interacting with. And in this, I feel like it needs to happen in here, and it doesn't happen that much.
I wonder if what context needs to be set up here is, like, I think it was intentionally left to be a little bit mysterious.
Yeah.
As to what their issues are.
The issues off is fine. I don't care about that.
Really?
Yeah. It's the tone of it, right? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like they're dissatisfied. I feel like there's something to miss, and that we should look more into it, but we haven't. That's what I feel like.
Interesting.
No, that does make sense.
Yeah.
Because when in a movie, when you're shown that something is wrong, you start to your mind wants to solve the problem, right? So you immediately start looking for the solution to the question they just posed to you visually.
Yeah.
Right?
And for example, the third one here is just good enough. We definitely know there's something wrong, but what's good about it is that they have such strong emotion here that I don't need to ask what's the matter. Well, clearly something is the matter. The other two, maybe there's something the matter. This one, there's definitely something the matter. So
you can sense that they're upset with each other.
Yeah.
The other two, like, they could have just found out someone they loved died.
Exactly.
It could have been anything.
Yeah. Imagine if the first guy was, pulled out his phone and was looking at his pets. It'd be the same thing. It doesn't feel like they're dissatisfied with each other.
It's almost like they love each other.
Right. Yeah. Actually, it looks like he likes this. Like, this is a new relationship for him.
Yeah.
And then he's going, oh yeah, I like doing this. But then his face doesn't say the same thing. So I don't know. It feels, the tone doesn't feel strong. And for
Actually,
a tone poem,
when we
it should be strong.
on our first watch through, when I was watching his face in this scene, my feeling was regret, like he just had sex with someone he wasn't supposed to.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I felt like.
That too,
He's cheating on someone else.
Yeah.
And then when we cut it to that other bedroom, I'm like, oh, we're gonna find out
who he's cheating on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just watching it just there, that shot of him with the title reveal, made me think, like, that's an interesting thought. I definitely see that. But it also made me think just now that he knows something that she doesn't.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Like he's knows, like, he's gonna break up with her, but hasn't done it yet. That's kind of what it looked like.
It could be that too.
But it could be anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah. But it's never exactly strong with one way or another.
Exactly.
I wonder, and this is actually a really huge concept. How would we have read this movie if the title wasn't Love Undone? If there was no title and that title reveal on the front wasn't there? Would we have inferred the same things?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
The first two were way more ambiguous.
Right, which means that we're missing something in terms of visual storytelling.
Yeah.
Instead, we're flat out telling people ahead of time this is what to look for.
Yeah.
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 Which is actually, that's really funny that you say that, because I've run into that quite a few times with some of my movies and like titles, because I feel like I don't want a title to give it away, you know? I feel like sometimes titles can detract from tone poems.
If it's a short film, sure.
Yeah. You know, where like Love Undone.
Like Guardian Angel.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what you're looking for. So that gets really hard, and even, that's something that I've even run into. I've even considered just not titling some of my films.
Yeah.
Just leaving them untitled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think way too much weight's put into titles.
Yeah.
And I really think people should never title a film till they're done.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I also think another thing that muddled up this tone poem were the fact that we had 3 poems playing concurrently. We had the visual poem.
Oh.
We had the song, which is a poem
Right.
put
The
to
spoken
music,
word. Yeah.
and then the spoken word poem
Yeah.
going on at the same time.
Yeah.
I think the spoken word poem would have been much stronger if the song had just been instrumental
Yeah.
instead of having lyrics.
I agree.
Because we had 2 sets of
agree.
lyrics,
I would totally agree.
and the lyrical song just stopped
Yeah.
to allow the narration of this written poem, which I believe is the more important message you wanted to convey.
I agree.
The written one?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, her spoken
voiceover.
word.
Yeah. Maybe that's why the visuals weren't as strong.
Yeah, well,
'Cause they're-
that's what I
'cause they're
think.
created
Did you
to-
see? I mean, and they were so spaced out,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a short poem
Right.
and a long movie. And if this was a short movie with very condensed, dense imagery, where it was just first stanza, beat, second stanza, beat, last stanza, beat, and then
Yeah.
the end, this would have been a very strong poem.
So I think one of the best things was that black and white film that we watched without sound,
Devoid.
called Devoid. Yeah, episode 16, filmmakers. There's a tone poem that's much like your poem, not in the message, but in the way that it's being delivered. In our episode 16 called Devoid, it's the 3rd film in that one. Check it out and see what we have to say about that one, because I feel like there's a lot of parallels here. What they had was a lot of visuals that did what we think should have done, and then ran parallel with a poem, a spoken word poem, that was completely opposite.
Yeah,
of
it's
what
like
was happening.
they had nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
In fact, when we watched the film, we didn't realize that on the Vimeo player, the volume was all the way down.
Right.
So we started watching it thinking that it was a silent film, and we thought it was awesome.
And it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we figured out our problem. We watched it with sound, and we were kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
might have jaded us a little bit on it, but
So
I think
yeah.
point still stands, I think.
With that being said, you can see what they did with the visuals and why that would make it different from something that would be spoken word that has visuals attached to it. You know, something with just visuals through a visual medium has just so much more strength. So with the idea that you were talking about with the music should just be instrumentals. I
Yeah.
think that
Well,
is
and
what
your
would happen.
the stanzas of the poem were so broken up. There
Yeah.
was so much time in between that you forgot you were listening to a narration. And whenever it came back in, it felt disruptive instead of flowing.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say go with one or the other.
Yeah.
Way too much relying on that song. There were points where it just felt like, oh, this is a music video.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if the music was all throughout the whole thing, but if it was used not like I wouldn't want the same song repeated like they did.
Mhm.
Just instrumental throughout the whole thing. I think
Yeah.
would be fine. I just want to make sure that when we say music video, we're not, we're not talking about music all the way through as a bad thing.
Yeah. It felt like there were times when it felt like a movie that was being made to a song. That's what I mean by
Right.
music video.
Right.
Which is
There you go.
not what you really want.
Right.
Do we have anything else to say? Should we move on to questions?
Let's move on to questions.
Let's do
What
some
have we
questions.
missed? I was really impressed with some of the imagery here. I think there's some real talent with a camera, and just a shout out to your cinematographer. I'd love to hear about who your cinematographer is and their philosophy and intention in the way they shot these scenes.
I want to know a little bit what your intention was behind the whole film, and if I'm right in assuming that, or in reading into the idea that they're all supposed to kind of flow together in the sense that they're supposed to be very similar and show that there are lots of people going through the same experiences, or if they were supposed to be more different from each other, if they were supposed to be more distinct from each other or not. Because I feel like I can't tell which way you're going with it. So I would like to know that. And but I liked the movie. I liked the tone. I thought the tone was pretty strong. Even the one tone that was there, it would have been cool to have some variation on it. But I did like the tone, and I liked the idea behind the film, and I love the cinematograph stuff. I like your style. Keep it up. I want to see another one.
I also like the style.
Did you write backstories for each of these couples? Do you know the reasons they're upset with each other?
Yeah.
That
good question.
That
almost.
Not quite.
You're almost there.
There's something that you filmmakers did here that I thought was really, really cool about tone poems. These guys are two people that know me very well and understand that I'm not one who likes these kinds of movies usually. But what I do like is when a movie like this states its intention within the language. And you did that. And there's not a lot of films that can do that. So that was really, really cool. That's high praise. As for a question, do you make any narrative stuff, or do you strictly do kind of tone poem stuff like this? I would like to see your other work. Please do submit another film to us, because this was really interesting to do.
Yeah, definitely an interesting film.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for submitting this to us. That was a joy to watch and to review, and please share more of your work with us in the future.
Absolutely.
And of course, anyone else who's a filmmaker, has a short film, there's a link in the description. You can fill out the form, Google form, fill it out, send it. It's good to go. We'll review it. It'll be awesome. Good time.
And we'll have an award ceremony here on January 1st.
It's better than the Oscars.
Oh, much better. Much better. See, what we're doing is we're picking out the objectively better art than the other art, which is better than the Oscars, because the Oscars pick out objectively better art than the other art.
Oh, you know what I'm saying, though? Not only that, you're correct.
Yes.
Not only that, but the films that we're going to end up nominating and whatever film ends up winning are better films than the ones that are in the Oscars.
That's just truth.
Absolutely.
That's just truth right there.
So, elephant in the room, guys, are we going to include the movie by the Big Red Man in our consideration for awards?
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty much a shoo-in, right?
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking, E pluribus unum.
For what?
Best overall.
Best
picture.
For what now?
Best picture.
Isn't that like it's like the worst movie we've ever covered?
What?
You joking?
Best picture.
You're joking.
No.
Yeah, that's a terrible film, dude. You're talking about Payman's film.
Yeah.
E pluribus unum.
Payman the Demon is a terrible filmmaker. The worst filmmaker we've ever seen.
Yeah.
You guys didn't get it, did you?
No, you were with us
the
when
film.
you said yourself.
But I only watched it one time. Did you guys only watch it one time?
It doesn't.
Of course, it was terrible.
No, it was.
Yeah, but the more I watched it,
why would you watch it again?
Because I've been hanging out with Payman.
With Payman.
Yeah,
the demon who has enslaved us here.
It's not enslaved.
We can't
I'm here
leave.
by
We can't leave, though.
He took the curse off me.
But you can't leave.
Oh, so you could leave.
I can leave whenever I want. I don't want to.
But you just haven't left yet.
Yeah.
Why do you want to be here?
Because the movie. I mean, Payman's great.
Well, can you tell him to unenslave us?
Because you guys aren't loyal, and you guys. Because this is the thing. If I put a good word in with Payman and let him uncurse you guys would leave. You guys wouldn't even do short film
Well,
roundup
yeah,
anymore.
we want to go back
Yeah.
to our homes.
I
It's
have a
not
wife.
about that.
I don't like being here. I have 4 children.
See, and this is where it comes down to this.
I don't even know how long we've been in here. They could all be like grown up by now.
Yeah, seriously.
You guys just aren't committed enough, and I don't appreciate that, and I don't want you guys to go because I want to keep doing
I
this.
feel like Payman's influencing you somehow because you don't seem like yourself lately.
The Taylor I know and love would never, ever betray us. To see you siding with
you
that
think I'm
big-
betraying you?
that big
You
red
think
oath.
I'm betraying you?
Yeah, I do.
Who's the one getting betrayed here? It's me.
Why?
I'm getting betrayed
Why?
because you guys want to leave. You guys don't want to review short films. You guys don't understand E pluribus
We
unum.
have a
you guys
film
have
studio
puny
in
IQs.
Orangevale, California, that is sitting empty because we're stuck here. We could be making our own movies.
And it looks just like this too. I mean, we have the same setup here.
Let's get out of here. I'm trying to plan. I have a plan for an escape.
Yeah.
I want
I'm
to
gonna
attempt
tell
it
him.
soon. Taylor,
I'm gonna tell him.
no.
I'll tell him.
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
want to leave. This is good code.